Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Scorpio Caesar here, and if you've been following my recent game pickup series of videos in the past few months, you notice that I talk a lot about claim sales and claim sellers. If you're curious as to what claim sales is, then you're in luck because today's video is going to be a little bit about that. I'm going to tell you what it's all about, as well as give you some pointers, as well as some accounts you can follow. So anyways, welcome to the Caesar Arcade.
Get ready.
So I don't know about you, but personally, when it comes to collecting video games in general, going to a local flea market or my local retro game store isn't as easy as walking down the block for 5 minutes. And eBay tends to be a last resort, so what I tend to rely on is claim sales. So what is a claim sale? Well, a claim seller is somebody who has games for sale on Instagram. And it's really quite simple. Each claim seller has their own rules and regulations and different types of payment methods that they accept, whether it be PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, all of the above. Some sellers, you have to look at their rules. They usually have a pinned post talking about what their rules are, and they tend to announce when their claim sales are about to happen. So you'll want to follow them and make sure you're on the lookout for their Instagram stories. So what they basically do is they post the games that they have on sale with pictures, the condition that they're usually in, and a price. And what you're going to want to do is, if you see a game that you really want, you're going to want to jump on that as soon as possible and claim it. All you have to do is type claim and the name of the game in the comment section down below. The claim seller will usually send you an invoice at the end of the claim sale, including the game or games that you claimed, along with the shipping price and their payment methods. And you pretty much go from there. It's a pretty easy process, and I haven't had an issue with it since I started. Now, the competition can be fierce depending on the following of the claim seller, and I'm going to suggest 5 accounts that you can follow that have a pretty good following, but not to the point where it's like a war in the comment section of the claims. So if you don't claim in time and somebody claims the game that you want before you, then you basically put up as backup. And what that means is that if the deal falls through and the person who originally claimed the game doesn't claim it or pay for it in time, the claim seller will usually contact whoever was the backup, and then you'll go from there. So I definitely encourage you backing up. It's happened to me a few times, and I've managed to score a game that I was really looking forward to getting that I wasn't as quick on. Now, first tip I can give you is to research. Absolutely research the seller. Don't be afraid to ask for references. Usually a claim seller would have a pinned post where people will post reviews underneath in the comment section of that post, and you're going to want to read through that because they tend to usually have their reviews down there. And the reviews generally speak for themselves. I'm not going to suggest somebody to you that's not a good claim seller. I've never had an issue with this, but there are dishonest people out there, so you definitely want to be careful. Tip number 2, as I said before, when you follow these accounts, turn the notifications on for both the posts and the stories, because sometimes they'll announce their claim sales in their story section on Instagram, or sometimes they'll do it in a post, sometimes they'll do it in both. You just want to be ahead of the game and be ready for whenever they're ready to have their claim sale. Tip number 3, look, I'm not your papa, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm not a fan of gambling personally. Some claim sellers like to have raffles for something really expensive and rare. That's generally how they make their money back. Me personally, I've never been a fan of raffling or gambling for that matter. And when you join a raffle, let's face it, you're basically gambling your money away. So my personal advice, stay away from raffles, at least just to begin with, until you're a little more comfortable. And hey man, if you have the disposable income for raffles, by all means, do what you want to do. It's just not personally for me. Tip number 4, don't be afraid to haggle. Now, I know this is something that not many people are a fan of doing. You don't tend to want to waste time when it comes to claiming a certain game, especially if it's a game that you're really looking for and it's a popular one. So This one, use your discretion. But if you see somebody post a game and it's been there for like a few days with nobody claiming it, you might want to try to haggle with the seller a little bit. Hey, if you want to try to knock down a few bucks, by all means, be my guest. It works for me sometimes. I mean, come on, it's part of the fun, right? Tip number 5. Avoid random DMs from people claiming to be claim sellers. Now, I've gotten quite a few phony accounts sending me pictures of a bunch of games that they're supposedly selling to gauge my interest, and when you look at their profile picture, you don't see games anywhere. It's just a bunch of personal pictures of like some random middle-aged old lady. Yeah, weird. Don't fall for it. Only follow accounts that you know are reputable. And like I said before, research. Do your research. Don't fall for it, because some people will try to sell you lots of games. They tend to not even be their actual pictures. They tend to steal them from other claim sellers. I know, it's kind of weird, but people are dishonest. Personally, I'm quite guilty of this myself, but my best advice at the end of the day is use your brain and claim with your heart, not your eyes. Like I said, it's easy to fall into a trap where you see some great deals for games and you just start buying and claiming, and then you gotta understand that the claim sellers are not usually posting the shipping cost, and that shipping cost adds up as you claim more usually, so you want to be careful when you're claiming games. And yeah, it can really add up over time, but it's still one of the best ways to collect games, and I stand by it. I've been doing it for over a year already, and I have 5 accounts that I want you to follow if you're interested in claim sales. So let's get to it. If you've been following my recent game pickup series, you know all these accounts that I'm going to mention I've claimed games from quite often, and Retro Gaming Zone is a class act and is definitely one worth following. Hell, he's the one who started all this for me in the first place. I remember seeing that Sega Saturn for claim, and I claimed it. It was the first Sega Saturn I ever owned. It was very cool. I was so happy about it. So yeah, Retro Gaming Zone, definitely worth following. He's great, fantastic. Hell, if I'm looking to sell some of my games or extra systems, he's the guy I go to. So Retro Gaming Zone, definitely follow him. Next up, we have Keisha Boy Games. Keisha Boy Games has become quite a good friend recently, and I cannot suggest him enough as well. He tends to have claim sales often, and he's looking to get those games out of the door and into your collection, and he gets some really good deals, trust me. Like, I swear, there's like every month I have always claimed a game from him, and it's been like that for quite some time. So definitely follow Keisha Boy Games, definitely reputable, and definitely worth a follow. Next up is Cali Claims. I cannot suggest Cali Claims enough. Cali Claims is awesome, always willing to work out some type of deal with me, and I cannot thank them enough. I've picked up quite a few N64 games from Cali Claims in general, and definitely worth a follow. Like I said, if you've been watching my recent game pickup series, you know I have nothing but praise for Cali Claims, so definitely check that one out as well. Next up is the Game Supplier 1994. The Game Supplier 1994, I've claimed so many games from. I think that was actually the second account that I've claimed games from after Retro Gaming Zone. And yeah, I haven't looked back. The Game Supplier 1994 has been nothing but kind. Hell, I've even traded games into the Game Supplier 1994, and I haven't had a bad experience with them at all. So definitely check out the Game Supplier 1994. And last but not least, I can't suggest enough TNT Claims. TNT Games and Collectibles has a bunch of games sometimes, and hell, they have some kick-ass deals. Hell, they just recently had like a $5 game claim sale going on, and I got quite a few from them. Actually, look at my recent YouTube short for more information about the games that I claimed through them. Hell, I've even claimed some VHS tapes from them as well. It's definitely fun dealing with TNT Games and Collectibles, so I definitely suggest you follow all 5 of those accounts and do business with them, because trust me, they're all A+ in my book. So anyways, I hope this video has been helpful for those of you who have been considering opening up other avenues and options for game collecting. Like I said before, not everybody has a flea market going on nearby. Not everybody can go to their local retro game store at all times, especially if they're a bit out of the way like it is for me. Not everybody wants to deal with eBay's inflated prices. So all I can do here is suggest claim sales like I have been for the past how many minutes this video has been going on. So anyways, thanks for watching everybody. I hope this video is helpful for you and your game collecting habits. So thanks for watching everybody. Without further ado, I bid you all a good game and good night. And remember, one word, claim or your backup.